So, Dan, Leanne is many things. She may be an angel, the devil, a witch. She's a magician. But one thing that Leanne definitely isn't is a feminist because Leanne was thirsty as shit this episode. She loved Julian's wetness and she slurped it all up.
Oh yeah. All right, welcome back. This is episode 9 of Servant called Goose, right?
Goose.
It's called Goose. Because Sean cooked some goose for a nice family dinner. Okay, so this episode, we don't get an answer about George. Everybody just assumed he left. There was no mention of a car accident. So clearly a police report wasn't filed, or maybe it was someone that he knew and they picked him up. No mention of George. Okay.
Nope.
No mention of Aunt May again. No,
Mhm.
no, we don't see her again. But we do see a character. If you want to jump to the end,
You have to.
let's just jump to the end real quick. Bill, who are we going to see next week?
There's definitely Josephine. They've been alluding to Josephine, but then also just a little, behind the scenes thing. When you do finish the episode, it loads up the episode list, and it does say next week, episode 10 is entitled Josephine. So I think it's a pretty fair bet, or at least we'll learn a lot more about her. But I think it's a pretty fair bet that is Josephine.
Okay, I agree. And do you think that Julian's cocaine use is why he's always wet?
I'm sure it does not help. It's like an exfoliator, it's an accelerant, so he's definitely sweating up. But the thing that makes it like it is like a deadly combo is he's also a super drunk. Like he just guzzles $10,000 bottles of wine all day, every day, and apparently has just been snorting every mountain up his nose. I mean, he's just like the trope of like a spoiled rich kid who definitely, probably has some serious emotional trauma, shitty parents, etc. But like instead of like dealing with it, these kids either have a pseudo cult, fake baby, or they become total addicts. So, I mean, these parents did a piece of work on these kids. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we have one episode left. This servant community that we built. Please comment what you want to see next.
Please.
Also, I want to mention we're giving away one of these hats to whoever comments on the final video. It'll just be someone random, and then we'll get your contact info. You're going to get this not this exact one, but one just like it. We mentioned that in the fan theories video, but I don't know if you guys are watching those as well as the What Just Happens. Now, as far as my excitement for next week, it couldn't be higher.
Oh my God.
But also, I'm a little upset. Like, really? I don't want it to end yet. I don't want this season to be over yet, because like we said, we might only get 3 seasons. Next year might be the final year. So it's a little bittersweet. But all right, I want to talk about Leanne. Obviously, her and Julian were the focus of the episode. She had, Courtney with a K. She was over. Dad's new girlfriend. No one was respecting her. She was ditzy. Sean didn't even seem to like her.
Respect her caterpillar game, though. That caterpillar, she did it. Oh my God. That was good.
And Dorothy just shouts it out. Yeah, caterpillar. And I said that's how Dorothy would react when Uncle George left. She's only thinking about, he must be getting Jericho. And we saw what? A noose downstairs.
So that was, remember, she's always said that she would follow him, and she literally, I mean, these were her words, she called it her contingency plan.
Yes.
So I mean, I think that Sean had alluded that to Leanne and may have even like point blank said this is what she'll do, but like hearing it out, the words from her mouth, like I just don't know. I feel like newly empowered non-virgin Leanne now is starting to get a little sympathetic. There was sympathy in her eyes, I think, for Dorothy for the first time this entire season. This whole season was like, why didn't you tell her what she did? Tell her, she's awful. And all of a sudden that was more of a sympathetic conversation. So I think now, especially with Josephine arriving, is Leanne going to try to, as she broke the chains from the cult, like M. Night said himself? I mean, she going to try to lean on her new family? I mean, it's just very, I mean, do you think her feelings are genuine for Julian, or you think
I do, man? I do, because he was under the impression that, she didn't want it. So he goes, sorry, it was a mistake. And then she like moves up close to him and was like, I'm not sorry. Like, what are you talking about? And obviously when he was overdosing and dying, he died for a second. She pulled some magic and brought him back to life.
Spider-Man kissed him.
Yeah. Yes, she did. So I mean, I heard a couple things here. How Julian and Leanne forged a bond. Not only has Leanne forged a bond with the Turners through season 1, but now she has this special bond through Julian because he was her first, and they had that intimate scene. And I don't know where they're gonna go with it, but she's in. Like she's wants to be with him.
Definitely pregnant.
You think? Yeah, I agree.
There's a lot of emphasis on the nativity scene. I mean, they almost did about 20, 30 seconds just zooming in on a nativity scene. I really felt like after they had obviously hooked up, and she was saying, like, in that scene you're talking about in the kitchen, she's like, I feel empowered. I feel different. Like, and she's pregnant, dude. And I think something that like it didn't occur to me would be a crazy dynamic is what if Jericho doesn't come back, but like then like Leanne has a baby, like her own baby, and then like what does that do to Dorothy? Like that could be an interesting dynamic to play.
Well, you saw Dorothy's face when she saw Julian dying. It looked like she got some flashbacks to Julian, or not to Julian, to Jericho. It looks like she got some flashbacks. Like we saw her break out of her little WandaVision world for a moment when she was looking at the clock at 2 a.m. during that episode called 2 a.m. But I still don't know if she'll break free of it. She's still hoping for the best. But now Josephine walks up and tells Sean, hey, I hear you're looking for Julian. So
Josephine, to me, like you just made a great analogy. We've been calling her, we've been making the WandaVision analogies. Is Josephine going to be our Agatha? Is she going to be our Agatha Harkness? Like, is she going to be the one that comes in? And I have, like I said, my prediction always was that like either the baby was going to appear / like she was going to, the truth, like the revelation was going to come. Could this woman just come in there and be a big plot device and really rip the Band-Aid off? And it's a finale, man. And like they're building something. It's going to be chaotic. I think a lot of truths are coming out, a lot of change. She is going, I think they are not going to be the same after this episode. It is not going to be the same from like season 1 to season 2, where like the same night. And it's just kind of like, oh wait, like where's the baby? And like, that is like urgent thing. But I think we're going down for something like, you know what I mean? I really think we're coming for like a real reckoning next week, man.
Yeah, I think next week's going to be a shit show. I think it's going to be absolute bonkers. I mean, think about last season finale. That was wild. Like we didn't see any of that coming. So there's clearly a lot more answers that we need, questions that we need answered. But the one thing that I just keep thinking about with this episode is how much Julian was clearly hurting in the moment. I mean, he just did line after line after line, and was it guilt? Was it he
There's something
bad?
else we don't know.
Something else we don't know about him, and that's what I want the comments below to focus on. Like, what is going on with Julian? Josephine, remember when Uncle George said she's coming? Maybe that's who he meant, because she goes, I can take care of Aunt May. And he's like, that's not who I'm talking about. So do you think Josephine could be the overarching villain, or there's still somebody else above her?
I think she might be like a step up. I'm not sure if they're introducing like the big bad yet. In M. Night Shyamalan fashion, I don't think we're going to like see the main villain and develop it. It's going to be like a big reveal like towards the end. I don't see a thing that like you could see the devil or God or these angels. The only other light note I just want to mention about this episode was Sean's $300 a pound potato flex.
Yeah.
Heads up on the flex, Sean. I appreciate that.
All right. Question for you. When Julian died and came back to life, he said that he saw him. Who is he talking about?
Jericho.
Okay.
I think he saw Jericho.
Some people think it was George, but again, if it was George, there would have been a murder scene right out front. Like that was cleaned up. You know what I mean? That was cleaned up. So
George is fine. Never been a bum. George probably got ran over. Then like the Philly cops like picked him up and threw him in the drunk tank or something. Like that's like that's why I like this show. You could get like a funny. We're thinking all these crazy theories that like George could have just ended up in like the drunk tank like for a night because everyone thought he was a rambling idiot. Like
now, why was Natalie blowing up his phone?
That's what I'm saying. There's something else going on. She's hypnotized him. She's definitely gotten him trained. I feel like she knows something. But
Natalie,
it's just like Natalie about him, and almost like the same way as like Dorothy, like, and how like she's not popping that bubble. Maybe there's something that he's like tranced out of himself too, and they're not popping his bubble, or or he's done something only she knows about. He knows he did something. Like we're so sure of it. Like,
you know what I get from Julian this episode? It's like he's the only one that was facing reality and he couldn't take it, so he kept doing the drugs. Everybody else is living in this fantasy world. Like,
he had the meta scene in the car, the meta scene in the car with Courtney with the case. Like, keep up. There was a fake baby, then a real baby. Yeah. Now she knows there's a fake baby. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Merry Christmas. So I was like,
so I mean,
that's like very self-aware.
Yeah. So the stage is set for the finale. It's set. I couldn't be more excited. This season has been fantastic. Are there any closing bits you want to say here? Any really big predictions, or you gonna play it safe? I mean, Aunt May is gonna show up, so we can both say that she's gonna show up. She has to. She hasn't showed up. Come on, where are you at? But I think that Julian is gonna be totally on the Leanne side now, especially since they bonded and she saved his life with that little power fist thing she did to the ground and then kissed him and boom, he's back to life. So she can bring people to life. Could it be the doll all along that she brought to life? That's still in play. There's so many things that are still in play and so many things that you guys comment that are also in play. So what do you guys think is going to happen for the finale? I don't know.
I think the only thing that I'll go out on a limb on, Dan, and it's kind of a theory that you had posed earlier in the season. We've kind of more going back to Julian, but Sean is getting pretty holy. He's praying. He's being very like open-minded. I could see a turn in a way, like maybe he swings his allegiance, not like against his wife or anything, but like maybe he gets convinced by Josephine that like I could see him like all season. It seems like Dorothy would do anything, but maybe like Sean makes the big swing at the end here with the Colt or with Josephine makes a deal or something. I could see him making a big unexpected decision.
Possibly. And I went through again and listened to what Roscoe said. He was definitely talking about the Colt because he was like, trust them. I don't think he was talking about Julian, even though it did benefit Julian also because he got some butt and he's definitely going to have a kid out of it. I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, there could be a time jump. Who knows what's going to happen? But all right, do we get Jericho in the finale? It's a tough one.
We get a baby crying at the end of this season.
Dorothy looking up.
I don't know if it's Jericho 2.0. Is it Leanne's baby that grew in a night? You know what I mean? Anything is possible.
What I'm scared is Sean's gonna walk downstairs and just see Dorothy hanging. Like that's gonna. I could see that. I could see it.
I see. I wanted to make a death prediction, Dan, but they're all so good. Like I don't know who I would want gone. You know,
no. I mean, we almost lost Julian. He did die for a second.
We technically got a death.
Yeah, we technically did.
I think one of us might have made a joke prediction about a death. Like, I forget. I got to go back. I gotta look.
But all right.
Commenters will remember.
Next week, that's all we got for Servant. Of course, we'll keep doing your fan theories midweek. Thank you guys so much. This Servant ride has been fantastic. We love this show. So comment what shows you guys want us to cover next, and we'll cover them. Let's keep this train going. But yeah, what's your guys' predictions? What do you think is going to happen next week? What's the big surprise coming? Because Nell Tiger Free, who plays Leanne, said the finale absolutely blew her mind. So we're going to get some crazy shit next week, and we will be here to cover it for you on What Just Happened. See you next time.
Peace.